Hey, what's cracking everybody? Welcome back to Computer Games Hardware. Today on the channel, we're going to have a little bit of fun, guys. We are going to look at the 6 best games, the best games I felt like anyway, from Steam's Next Fest. It's been a huge couple of months with Computex and Summer's Games Fest and Next Fest just finishing. So I've had a chance to run through a few demos from Next Fest, and I picked a couple that piqued my interest. So I want to talk about them with you guys. Let's go ahead and do it. So the first game I want to talk about is a game called Hollowbody. Hollowbody is a tech-noir survival horror short story set in the urban decay of a long-abandoned British city. Solve environmental puzzles, manage limited resources, and fight for a way to escape beyond the wall. So this is a really interesting title, being developed and published by a sole developer from a guy named Nathan from Headwear Games. It is a Resident Evil Silent Hill type throwback game with PS1, PS2 style graphics, and it's really got a Silent Hill style vibe to it. The kicker is it's set in the future, so it's got a Blade Runner-y sort of noir vibe to it as well. So this is right up my alley. I wouldn't call it cyberpunk, it's more dystopian type vibe, but it's really interesting. The reason I want to highlight this is one guy is developing this game, and you can see some developer live streams on the Steam Next Fest page. You can go and check it out. He also has a website, so you can go to headweargames.com, and from there you can see his YouTube channels and everything like that. So I highly encourage you to do that, and you can see like dev videos and things like that about how the game has been developed. It's a classic survival horror game that's inspired by early 2000 survival horror games like Resident Evil 2 and Silent Hill, and it's got a little bit of a modern touch. So I think games like Signalis, it sits in that sort of pedigree. It's got a cinematic blend of dynamic and fixed camera angles, so that should be really interesting to see when they do the classic dynamic, third person over the shoulder type angles, and then when they turn to fixed camera. It's got puzzles, resource management, limited combat. It's also got a focus on narrative and exploration, so there'll be plenty to find within the world to and stuff to look at. And it's really got that PlayStation 2 graphic vibe to it as well, so go in full knowing what you're getting yourself into, but there's plenty of things to find and explore throughout these levels. There is emphasis on strong world building set in a dystopian near future. It's also got carefully paced save points to ensure the tension is maintained while respecting the player's time. So that is something I can really appreciate, because remembering it's 2024, we're all busy. We've grown up with these games, but, we still want to be able to pause, have a break and stuff like that. So I appreciate that. It's also got different difficult options to aid players to prefer exploration or combat. And then it's got some like post-game unlocks and stuff like that too. So this probably doesn't have the polish that some of the other games on this video might have, but it's been developed by a single developer who's put everything into it. Well done, mate. I think the guy's name's Nathan. We're rooting for you. I will be following this game closely and looking forward to getting my hands on the full version. Alright guys, next up we have Once Human, and this one is set to be released early next month, so it will be interesting to see, because this one was one of the most wishlisted games from Steam Next Fest. And this game is, imagine if every genre of game was like rolled into one. If you wanted a survival game mixed with Fortnite / a Souls-like, Elden Ring with a classic JRPG, Stellar Blade, third person type of action stealth game. This is what this game is. It feels like The developers, Starry Studio, took every game genre they could possibly imagine and tried to stuff it into a single game. There were points in this game when I was playing it and I'm like, this kind of feels like Team Fortress. This kind of feels like Fortnite. This kind of feels like Stellar Blade. Hang on, this kind of feels like Enshrouded. Like, what the hell is going on here? So this was one of the more aesthetically polished games on the list, but it had a ton of problems as well. It didn't play very well. There was no controller support on PC. There were lots of glitches. The controls felt a little bit underdone, like strafing wasn't perfect and things like that. And that's a common theme in some of these games. This one had some pop-in, heaps of glitches. So I'm not sure if they've used a really, really early build or it's going into early access. You know, it's got all those elements that, gamers obviously like, because this has been a hugely wishlisted game, which is coming out fairly soon. It's got a really positive reception. So people sort of enjoy it. One thing I did like when I was playing it through and it was like, oh, I've got to do crafting now. So I'm a little bit over the survival crafting, stuff like that. But one thing this game had going for it is the survival and the crafting stuff happens really quickly. So you got to get like 10 trees. You only have to go make one tree, hit one or two trees that happen really quickly. And it doesn't seem like a massive drain on your time. So that's a positive thing for me in the first instance. But I was disappointed that there was no controller support. I really felt like this will be a really nice feel in the hand game for a controller. So hopefully they get that working prior to its release. I'll be interested to see. You're all looking forward to this one. I'm really interested in it too. It's probably not a game I would pick for myself, but it was just one of those games where I had to laugh. It was so many things, and it has a whole bunch of different identities that I thought I'd better highlight it and see how this one goes, because I've got a weird feeling this is going to be among people's best of the year for some reason. This is the one that everyone has been jumping all over. So that is Once Human. Alright guys, next up we have Kill Knight. This is an isometric top-down action RPG shooter type game developed by Playside Studios, one of my favorite up-and-coming developers and fellow Melburnians as well. So big shout out to you guys. Kill Knight is an ultra-responsive, arcade-inspired, isometric top-down action shooter. This game is bonkers, guys. Condemned to the internal sufferance deep within the voids of an eldritch arena, you must wield an arsenal of devastating weaponry to obliterate swarms of otherworldly horrors and master the demon within. And master is the key word there. This game has a bunch of mechanics, and you go through a tutorial to start with, and it warns you that this game is difficult. So you go through and you run through these tutorials, and they seem easy enough. These mechanics are cool. I'm looking forward to jumping straight in. So that's what I did, and baby, this thing is hard. Swarms and swarms and swarms of enemies fill the screen as you're trying to shoot, charge up your weapons, use your alternative weapons. And this game features 5 levels or layers that they call it to get through. And guys, I couldn't even get past the first one. I was struggling with this game. The mechanics are crazy, but the controls feel really good in the hand. Best played with a controller, and just mowing down these hordes and hordes of many enemies. If you like Diablo style games, which I love, and I love the recent ones where the best way to play, in my opinion, has been controller, this takes it up to another level. The mechanics in this game and the controller feel in the hand is perfect. There are difficult, easy mechanics to pull off individually, but difficult to string them together. It's almost like you are doing sets of combos with your hands. I know that sounds weird, but it's like you've got to figure out the dance between your fingers to get these combos perfect. You can charge up your secondary fire, and the enemies drop power-ups for your guns and your weapons, so you can choose to stop firing, to charge off, to lay waste to a whole bunch of enemies, or keep mopping those things up and shooting. It's also got one of those mechanics that, like, when you reload, if you like hit the button at the right time, it will do a charge shot and speed up your reload speed and things like that. You've also got melee attacks. You've got like a sword and things like that. So you can combine those two. So there's like strong, weak, distance attacks and close quarters combat as well. There's just so much going on. There's so much to look at while you're having this intricate finger dance on the controllers. It's really something else. The developers call it a polished minimal aesthetic, and retro visuals pay homage to neon-soaked arcades and shooters of the 90s. So that's the style you're sort of going in. I was playing on the what I consider to be normal settings, and boy, it is hard. Trust me on this one. When you pick it up, you are going to be addicted. I love these developers. I'm really looking forward to this game. So that is Kill Knight. This one's also pretty easy on the old rig, so it's coming sometime in 2024. So check it out. Hey, just want to jump in here and say, if you're enjoying any of the content on Computer Games Hardware, please chuck us a like, share, smash that subscribe button, and watching the videos really helps me out. Big hello to all our new subscribers, and thanks to everyone who's been kicking along the way. Appreciate you all. Thanks for watching, guys. Next up, we've got Over the Top World War I. Developed by Flying Squirrel Entertainment, this game is a really interesting title, developed on the Unity engine. This game is a third-person multiplayer trench warfare World War I game. Full disclosure, guys, the developers provided me with a playtest code before the demo hit Steam Next Fest. So I've been playing this game for a couple of weeks, and I gotta tell you, this game is like crack. So this game is really surprisingly fun. A lot of content in the game. It's got full different classes. So you've got your sniper, your gunner, you've got your rifleman, mechanic, and all those things. And you've got weapons and stuff to unlock. Think of sort of third person Call of Duty and Medal of Honor in the early 2000s. That's sort of the aesthetic of it, and that's sort of how it looks and plays, sort of the third-person multiplayer Call of Duty, which is quite interesting and fun, but it's got that World War I aesthetic with trench warfare. So it's quite fun. It's quite a charming game. If you're looking for like modern Call of Duty style gameplay, you're not going to get that here. Believe me, give this one a try, because you will find yourself getting into the gameplay. Every time I've played, there's been enough plays for an Australian server, so that seems pretty positive to me. There are tons of classes and weapons and different grenades and things of the World War I era to test out. I will say some of the weapons sort of they've tried to inject a little bit of realism. So when you're playing with the sniper, it takes ages to pull your bolt back, get your bullet out, and put a new one in to refire. Takes like I think it can take up to like 10 seconds. It's really, really long, and I didn't love that. I felt like it needed a little bit more of an arcadey style, particularly with the engine and the graphics and things like that. I'll also say it's not perfectly optimized, this game. I was not getting a high or consistent frame rate in this game, but it's just got one of those special sauce things. It's like crack. I just like, first off, you start killing bots, you're like, oh, this is okay. And then you come up against some real players and you're like, oh, game on, game on. Like WASD, baby. You clicking that mouse and taking out dudes. It's really fun. I think currently the rifleman subclass is the only one you can use if you want to be like really competitive, but I had lots of fun cycling through all the content, all the weapons, all the uniforms, trying the different factions. So you've got the German and the British and all that. All the menus and the subclasses, they've got all these old school photos from World War One with quotes and things like that, which is really engaging and cool. So there's plenty to talk about with this game. I hope more people check this one out. It's really fun. I'm gonna go have a couple of rounds in it as we speak. It's one of those games you can jump in, spend 10 minutes, jump out. It's got like a Rocket League type vibe to it. It's also got a single player campaign, and it's got like a world builder as well. So there is a lot of content in this game. I'm really looking forward to the full release of Over the Top World War One. Check it out. Okay, guys, we're up to our second last game, and this one is The Alters. And again, part of the reason I chose this one was for its fantastic visuals, developed by 11-Bit Studios, who is fast becoming one of my favorite developers. You would have seen, I don't know where it is, it's somewhere up there, our review of the Thermitrage, which I absolutely loved. 11-Bit Studios have made some really impressive games in a really unique style. These guys are an independent Polish studio who develop and publish their own games. This game is an emotional sci-fi game that features a unique blend of adventure, survival, and base building elements. You play as Jan Dolsky, a simple worker who creates alternate versions of himself in a desperate attempt to escape from a planet where every sun rays can prove deadly. So this is a really interesting sort of time loop game. This has a really nice aesthetic and it looks absolutely beautiful. This is a mixture of over the shoulder and sort of almost top down isometric gameplay as well. It's one of the most interesting sci-fi games I've played in a long time. I'm really looking forward to this one. This game features sort of like he's an astronaut miner type of scientist that's been stranded on on a faraway planet, and the rest of his crew has met their demise. And this planet features a sun that, when it comes up in a certain amount of time, will be the destruction of him and his base if he doesn't get off the planet in time. So you face important choices from the past in order to save yourself in the present. You create new versions of yourself to complete tasks impossible to tackle on your own. Build relationships with the alters and try to influence their decisions. Discover what manner of choices you are willing to make in order to survive. Manage and move the base in order to escape the deadly rays of the sun. So you've got your base is in this sort of like Dyson sphere type contraption where you can move the different modules to make it sort of work to how you need it. It's a really interesting game. You have to build different modules to access different areas of your base or ship, as you will call it, to survive the night. And while the gameplay loop sort of seems like really isolated, you're in this base doing different sort of thing, it also opens up into the environment and you go out exploring and surviving as well. So I'm really looking forward to this one. It's coming sometime in 2024. That's The Alters by 11-Bit Studios, one of my favorite up-and-coming indie developers, so keep your eye out on this one, guys. Alright guys, last but not least, we have Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn. Now, This game really surprised me. This one wasn't even on my radar whatsoever, but this demo played like a full release game. Again, this one really surprised and excited me. Developed by A44 Studios, the makers of Ashen, comes an explosive Souls-like where gods and guns collide in a battle for the future of humanity. You play as Nor. You are an elite soldier from this coalition-like army, and it has almost like a Confederate war type futuristic vibe to it. So we've had a lot of like futuristic, old school war like themes within the choices that we've made here today, and this game is no exception. This game is being called a Souls Light. This game has like Souls elements, but it's got a really fast-paced action playstyle with guns as well, and I really enjoyed the gameplay style. I was blown away by how polished this game feels. This is a game, and this is also releasing on the 17th of next month. So this one's ready to go, and I'm really looking forward to it. Flintlock retains the elements of the Souls-like genre and infuses it with rapid mobility, resulting in dynamic and explosive combat. Weave in melee, gunpowder, and magic in rhythmic battles where combos chain together to create like a deadly dance. And that's how it feels. It's one of those games, I think we said the same thing about Tales of Kenzera Zao. It feels like a dance. When you string things together, it really rewards you. Use Nor's gunpowder abilities to exploit verticality to your advantage and deal death from above, or quickly recover from danger. Unleash upon the world the vengeful gods. This is one of those worlds with different gods and things like that. Think of them as like souls bosses, and one of these gods is your companion, who's sort of rebelling against the other gods in this big confederacy sort of type war that's going on. So you traverse the ravaged landscape utilizing your companion's magic and portals to soar through the skies while you confront these like undead soldiers and things like that. I don't want to give too much away, but you discover new equipment, strengthen your weapons, upgrade your gear. So it's got all those elements. You know, everything's an RPG now, but it's got that really Souls light sort of aesthetic. So think Bloodborne, Jedi Survivor. It's somewhere in that sort of vein. But I had a really good time with the demo for this game. It looks absolutely beautiful. The voice acting is top notch. This is a really polished game. This is one of those games that has like deluxe editions and costume changes and everything like that as well. So this one's going to be a pleaser, and I'm really looking forward to it. Flintlock is set to be released on the 18th of July, so we've got around a month to wait for this one as well. What was going to be a pretty quiet month has just sort of shot up on the games list with the release of Once Human and this game, Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn. All right, so that was my 6 games that I'm really looking forward to and what I've been playing at Steam Next Fest. What about you guys? What did you play? What were your favorite picks? There was a ton of games. I think there was like over 1,000 games for sure. It was incredible. There was just too much stuff to get to play. I thought we were done saying that there were too many games in 2023, but they've done it again. They've sort of backlogged the end of 2024, so it's going to be really interesting to see as all these games start to trickle out. And that's the great thing about Next Fest. You've got all these indie developers mixed in with some big titles, so going to be a big couple of months for gaming in the second half of the year. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys have been playing. Anyway, that's going to do it for this one, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I've had a really good time making this one. I had a really good time in Steam Next Fest, trying all these demos, picking my best ones for you guys, and I'm really looking forward to hearing what you guys have been playing. Thanks for watching. See you next time.